Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I actually did a little poll, I guess, on TikTok on what this week's YouTube video should be, and I had this idea of basically saying my story and how I found self-confidence and how imperative that was to my personal growth. And so many of you guys really resonated with that and were really excited about it, so I am excited to talk about it today. Now, how do I begin? Firstly, I'm gonna start off by saying that I was not a skinny kid. I am not a thin woman. I just have never been that. Pretty much like genetically, like that's just not how my body is. And up until probably 6 months ago, I really hated that about myself, and it took a lot of work for me to get where I am, but I'm really happy to say that I'm finally very confident and very comfortable in who I am. Of course, I always have my days, but for the most part, I really do love myself, and that's something that I had to work really, really hard to get there. So, as a kid, things were never really easy on me. We grew up with not a lot of money. I have two parents who I love very much, but they did have me very young. They were like 18, 19. And because of that, you don't necessarily eat the best. So, eating like McDonald's off the dollar menu or eating ramen noodles, or I'm Puerto Rican, so there was a lot of canned Vienna sausages and rice. Growing up with not a lot of money, you don't necessarily have the funds to eat super healthy. So that was one thing, right? So I would honestly say I was teased about my weight for as long as I can remember. I was in elementary school, being called chubby and fat. I mean, when I say elementary school, I mean I was in the first grade, you know? So that was really hard. And of course, being someone who's always been passionate about fashion growing up, you see these women in the media and in magazines and in fashion shows that were literally the exact opposite of what you look like. So that never made me feel good. But one moment in particular that really sticks with me is in the fourth grade. I had a crush on a fifth grader. Scandalous, I know. And my friend at the time, who I guess wasn't a good friend, and I say that now, but obviously as a kid you don't know that. She ran up to my crush and she was like, "My friend Jaina has a crush on you." And I kid you not, this how old are you in the fifth grade? 11? This 11-year-old boy turned around, looked at me, and was just like, "Ew, she's fat." And when I tell you that was the most traumatizing thing ever, it was literally the most traumatizing thing ever. And I remember going home and just crying to my mom that kids in school really thought I was fat. And I was chunky, but I just felt like I was the ugliest girl in the world, And I would never was able to get away from that, and that consistently stuck with me, that I was a chubby girl and that was just not desirable, and so therefore I wasn't desirable. So that was in the Bronx, right? So at least what I had there was, going to school in the Bronx, you're going to a very diverse elementary school, right? So I had kids of all backgrounds, specifically a lot of, Latinx kids, which I'm so grateful for because I was engulfed in my own culture. After the fourth grade finished and I was ready to enter the fifth grade, we actually moved to a very small town outside of the city, in Westchester, and we lived in the low-income housing in that town because it was the only way in hell we were ever going to live there. And my first day of school, I remember going to middle school and being so excited and looking around and saying, wow, everyone in this school is white. I was probably one of like 3 kids that were of a minority in that school, and it really felt isolating. So not only do I hate my body, but now I'm like, okay, no one in the school looks like me. Um, so now I feel self-conscious about that, right? Thankfully, as I entered school, I did make quite a few friends, right? And it felt good, you know. You're the new girl, so whenever you're the new girl, everyone wants to meet you. Um, but over time, I realized, like, wow, my family has no money. Because that you would go on these like play dates after school, and they would have these big houses and um, homes that felt like so much less chaotic than my own. To just know that like I definitely did not have the money that the families in this town had, and you know, it was almost embarrassing, which is really sad. That definitely lowered my self-esteem as well. And then unfortunately in the 6th grade, I'm going to show my age for a second. So this social media thing called Formspring was was very popular. And it was almost like, I don't know if you guys remember like Ask.fm, which was around when I was in high school, but Formspring was kind of like the pre Ask.fm. So it basically was a anonymous thing where you would make a page, right? Like it's your page, but people could anonymously ask questions or leave comments. And in the 6th grade, everyone had one, so of course I made one. And let me just tell you, I received such awful, awful things on there. Which, mind you, the school that I was attending was like not big. There were maybe 150 to 200 kids in my grade. And the school itself had like what each other grade was like 200, so maybe a total of 800 kids maximum in the whole school. So when this was around, I was like, wow, so the people that are writing these horrible things about me, they gotta be like my friends. Like I gotta like know them, because there's not many people to kind of like weed through and all of that. So I got a lot of comments on there telling me that I was fat and that I was ugly and that I was weird. And it was so weird because no one in that school ever said anything to my face, you know? And so I would go to school and I would have all these friends and like people would be nice to me, but then I would go home and go online and I would see all these weird comments reminding me how fat and ugly I was. Something happened in the 6th grade, and I still don't know exactly what it was, but 6th grade was a year for me, guys. But basically, and I still don't know who started it, but basically one of my friends in like my friend group, I guess, decided to tell everyone that I was talking about everyone, which I know wasn't true. So there was a period in my life where I literally had no friends, and I was crying and I was in guidance every day because I had no friends. So to add on to the list now, I think I'm fat, I think I'm ugly, I'm poor, and being reminded about it every day, and then now I have no friends. So these were things that I was constantly sitting with and constantly feeling about myself every single day. And then the year after, my parents actually got a divorce. So then I was also handling that and dealing with, you know, not having my dad around every day, which I have always been and like was so close to my dad. So like that also put me in a really dark place. And I would say honestly, like I started suffering from depression at the age of like, how old are you? 12, which is wild. But the combination of everything that was just constantly building and building and building, and like all this negativity that I was feeding into and not fighting against, put me in that position. So then I went to high school, same town, same people, and high school was better. I had found new friends. I was starting to feel accepted. The people that I had in my life at that time, like, were so warm and so accepting of me, and that definitely helped. One of my best friends, Jessica, like, I'm still friends with her till this day, maybe not as close, but she really took me out of a very dark place I was in then and helped me. But of course, during that, I'm still thinking I'm fat and I'm ugly and I'm poor. Because, to put it into perspective, guys, like, I can say now jokingly, like, I didn't have my glow up till like like a year ago. Like, I think like 2020 is when I really found myself and grew up. But I like, so like, I know like I wasn't at my prime these years, but not a single person ever had a crush on me. And all of middle school and the first 2 years of high school, I really like internalized that, because I was always like, oh, well, boys don't like me, I'm ugly, I'm fat, and I'm poor. It sounds so crazy now because I literally feel the opposite of that, but like, this is what I was thinking every single day. It's insane. So when I went to high school, first of all, I went to high school and something in me like started feeling a little bit better about myself. So I was like, you know what, Mom? Like, I want to get a bikini, because I had only ever worn one pieces. And gotta love Hispanic moms. My mom pretty much told me at first, not verbatim, because this was a long time ago, I don't remember it, but she pretty much like was like, well, you kind of gotta lose a little weight first. And I know she meant well, but she said it. So I actually did slim down so unhealthily. I was starving myself pretty much. And finally got a bikini. I felt so cool. Fast forward, we ended up moving to Jersey mid-sophomore year. So it was just me, my mom, and my sister. My dad stood in New York, obviously they were not together. And we ended up moving in with my mom's new boyfriend. I thought this was like the worst thing in the world when it happened, but now I can see that this was probably the best thing to happen to me, because it really did help me meet like my people. I moved to this town, and thankfully it's so diverse, and finally I was around people that looked like me, and boys had crushes on me because I was in a diverse school. And to be honest, like, I've never had a white guy like me. So there were other guys at the school that weren't white and they liked me. Not that that's like any indication of your worth, but as like a 16-year-old girl, I think that's how I was gauging things, which is so sad. I would say between like sophomore to mid-junior year, I finally started to feel better about myself. I was like exploring the fact that I was like talking to guys, and I had this like really fun, amazing group of friends, and we were going and doing like crazy things that teenagers do and just making memories, and things started to finally feel okay. Then I met my ex. And unfortunately, that experience with him over the years and his way of controlling me, in the sense that it was like, why are you wearing makeup? Like, who are you wearing makeup for? Who are you wearing that cute outfit for? You should really only be going to school in like a hoodie, and like don't do your hair and don't wear makeup. Do you know? So I dealt with that for like a very long time. That like kind of suppression, and that started to knock my confidence down more and more and more. And I was with this guy for years, and over time I started resisting these things, but they would still come up every now and then, and I know now it was all based out of his insecurity, but it really diminished my confidence like all over again. I finally was being built up, and then I have this guy who, yeah, thinks I'm beautiful, but like is calling me names and telling me that I can't do the things I want to do and dress how I want to dress and express myself the way I want to express myself because it's only for male attention, which wasn't the case. Fast forward, I would say 6 months ago, honestly, is when everything started to change for me. I started really contemplating leaving my ex and then following through with it, right? And I started working out every day. Very strict workout regimen. I made sure I was eating right, because when you're in a bad situation, you tend to not care for yourself the way you were supposed to. So although I was still vegetarian and I was eating probably okay, but I wasn't doing body justice. Like, I wasn't actively taking care of myself. I started being very mindful with what I was eating, what I was putting into my body, and working out. And as I started to just like feel healthy, like, I wasn't necessarily doing it to lose weight, I was doing it to feel good about myself and know that I was taking care of myself. With that, I started being able to post what I wanted on social media, right? Because even in the relationship I was in, I was constantly being monitored, and it was constantly, why did you follow this guy? Who is he? Why is he liking your stuff? No, you can't make a TikTok. No, you can't do this. No, you can't do that. Like, all this crazy stuff. Or you can make this, but you can only do this. Or you have X amount of time to achieve this goal, and if you don't achieve it, then you don't have it. Then you gotta get rid of it. Like, just crazy stuff, guys. So finally, I didn't have anyone that was like dictating what I could and could not do, that I was constantly having to fight against and pick my battles. So I just started to feel good about myself, you know? I was on TikTok, and I know a lot of you guys are probably on there that see this, and these encouraging things where people are like, well, you inspire me, or I have your body type and I love seeing you so confident, like, that keeps me going and really reinstates the fact that, like, the way I'm doing things, like, this is my purpose, you know? And it's not receiving compliments that made me feel confident. It was taking care of my body, my mental health, because I left a situation that literally was breaking me down every day. Realizing that I work in fashion, and that is such a privilege, and I actually can make a difference in the things that people are seeing on social media, right? So I can actively help and support women who are advocating for body positivity and inclusivity and doing all these amazing things while being one of them, and change the industry. And that is so powerful. So through working out, through my spiritual journey, and knowing that what I'm doing is what I'm supposed to be doing. And when I say that I know, it's like so instilled in my core. Like, I see that what I'm doing, I'm seeing angel numbers, I'm getting these signs that I'm on the right track, you know? I have a community of people like you guys that are so supportive to each other, because when I'm on live, you guys literally are so kind to each other. You're being inspired by the stuff that I'm making, and I can just say, like, you know, we can grow our confidence together. Not every day's perfect. There are days I step on the scale and I'm just like not happy, and then I have to remind myself that water weight is a thing. Literally, I have a fear of going to the doctor, like a general practitioner, because the last time I went to a doctor, she asked me how much I weighed, and I told her, and then I stepped on the scale, and she literally said, wow. Like, what? You're a nurse. Why are you acting all alarmed by how much I weigh? I know I weigh that much. I told you I weigh that much. I don't know why. That's just how much I weigh. It has always been such a big factor, and I think now I can finally see, like, it's all about muscle composition and body fat percentage and so many other things. And at the end of the day, if you're happy with who you are inside, like, I can honestly say I try every day to be the best person I can be, and I don't put bad energy into the world anymore. Like, I actively do things that I know will bring me back good karma, and I don't put bad karma out there. Like, it just made me such a more confident person. It's a journey. Everyone has their own, and, you know, just work on being the best version of yourself, and then confidence comes with that. You have to have that internal growth before you can radiate the external excitement and love that you can, you know? Like, I feel like when people see me, they can tell that I'm confident and that I love myself. And it's true, I do. And I haven't always. And this is like a new feeling for me. But it's amazing, and I'm so grateful for it, and I owe so much of it to you all. I hope this video made sense. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope it resonates with you, and I would love to hear if you have confidence stories, if you want to ask questions about things that I did to find my confidence, if there's anything that I didn't touch on with my story, let me know. If you want to subscribe, I upload weekly. You can like this video, and like I said, let's chat in the comments. Love talking to you all. And like I said, I couldn't do this without you. Love you guys so much, and I will see you next week. Bye.